Welcome to the channel, FBS BBQ, Finch Brothers Smokers Barbecue Review, where we try it before you buy it. Please hit that like and subscribe button. And today we're making Okoboji ribs. They're sweeter than candy ribs. And I'm using this Unicorn all-purpose rub and the Dominator sweet rib rub. And man, I haven't tried this recipe before today, and they turned out phenomenal. So I've got that Chosen Foods avocado oil. It's super versatile. You can find it at any store. And sorry about the earthquake check here. My camera stand is currently broken. This is actually my light stand that's holding my camera, and I'm kind of awkwardly standing behind it and trying not to bump it, and that's why I'm slowly sliding away. But I wanted to show it complete breakdown of the ribs. On the back there, these are St. Louis style ribs, some Prairie Fresh, and that's the membrane there. I was fortunate enough to get almost all of it off in one pull. Had a little bit more to drag off there, but these Prairie Fresh ribs, you just wait till I flip these babies around. They are perfectly marbled. On the back there, there's a little bit of extra meat that it just, for me, it kind of tends to burn. And that last little bone there has what they call the false flap. And all I'm doing here is trimming up some of the edges so the edges don't burn. They like to say those edges can just, they kind of catch, they get dry, crumbly. Some people like them. There's a little bit of crust on them. But I just don't want, I wanted to make these picture perfect, or try my best to anyway. So I'm rounding off the edges where anything is kind of sticking out. And I don't know if that glitched for you. Hopefully I'm doing this voiceover as I'm going, but look at all that fat. Those white ribbons are fat in there. And there's a little bit of extra fat that's kind of hanging off the edges here. And you're going to see me trim these up real quick in a second. But also checking out the fat pockets on the back. A lot of that's going to render out. I am cooking at 275 degrees, a little bit warmer on my smoker. And there's that Chosen Foods avocado oil. It's in a spray, and you can get that at your local Walmart. That's where I got these ribs from, Walmart. That's where Prairie Fresh, you can find their natural St. Louis cut ribs like these ones at the store. And here I am getting my rub, that first all-purpose. It's my base layer. It's a salt, pepper, garlic. Kind of wanted to try and show that you don't want to get close. You'll get too big of pockets. So I'm actually going about 24 inches above the ribs to get a nice even coat. You see it kind of raining down there on the ribs. And now with this Oak Ridge barbecue, it comes in these plastic pouches, which is awesome. Awesome for keeping it fresh. It's a little trickier to season your ribs with, but there's actually 2 lines on the seal there, and you need to face the label up is what I've been told. And this is actually my first try doing it. Once again, hold it up a little bit above and just do a nice even dusting. You see, you don't want any clumps of seasoning where it's too salty, too sweet. If you're using a spicy rub, too spicy. And here I am showing patting, and I think I do a little finger. Yep. You never rub it in, never rub a rub, even though it's pretty much telling you that you need to rub. Don't do it, because what you'll do, like I said, you'll create clumps, pockets of seasoning that are too salty or too sweet. They formulate these rubs to be evenly spread across any kind of a meat that you're seasoning for barbecue specifically. These ribs, I use this avocado oil so to speak, and all that does is it creates a layer for that rub to grab onto. It acts as a binder, and it helps keep that seasoning to cling to the meat. So when I get them pulled off the smoker at the temperature I want to wrap them at, that seasoning has set to the meat. It's cooked into it, and that's again why I use that binder. And the sweet rib rub, I've used it before in the past, but I've never used just a couple rubs. For video purposes, I wanted to do that just so anybody that's out in northwest Iowa, you're up in the Okoboji area, you can go to Krafty's Meat Market, and that's where you get that prime time unicorn all-purpose unicorn dust. It's probably one of my new favorite all-purpose seasonings. It's really good. It's salt, pepper, garlic. I think it has some butter in it, and it's good on vegetables, steaks, ribs, pork butt, literally anything you want to season with. Use that as a base layer for a great savory note. And then this Dominator sweet rib rub, the local grocery store in Milford, Iowa carries this line of Oak Ridge barbecue seasonings and marinades. Another marinade to try is the Game Changer brine/injection. This is the Dominator sweet rib rub. All of their rubs are fantastic, and honestly, if you make sure you stop Sunshine Foods before I forget to mention it. But this is only after a couple of minutes, and you can see that seasoning is starting to set in the meat. And in a second here, we'll have some TV magic of, actually, I know what I'm doing. I'm going to grab some sugar in the raw. I actually wanted to make these sweeter than candy ribs. So I went and got my sugar in the raw turbinado sugar, and what that's going to do is just add a different layer of sweetness with a little bit more molasses. I also use it in my rub, and here's about another 15 minutes later. You can see that seasoning has started to set into the meat. It's sweating into the meat. That's that wet, glossy look on it. That's not from the spray, the avocado oil spray. It's actually what happens when you let the seasoning set on the meat for a while, which you always want to do. And here's that sugar in the raw. I decided I just wanted to pretty much take it up a notch, a little bit more sweetness to it. And I've seen some people in competition barbecue do this. I've never tried it myself. And man, the results were awesome. You'll see in some of the photos here and videos the kind of crust that you get from it. The sugar almost caramelizes on the ribs. And I let that set for another, I want to say another 15 minutes or so. You always want to let your meat, once you season it, you want to let it rest for at least 30 minutes before you put it on. And God, look at the color that those have. That Dominator sweet rib rub, it's like a candy apple red. It smells really good. There's a pork butt I got for another video coming up here in the future. There's my meat stick. Love those products, and I couldn't get enough of how good these look. I think that was about 10 minutes in. I had to take another peek and also admire my pork butt. Of course, trying to do 2 videos at once here. But that was a honey pecan pork butt. So make sure you come back once I get that video posted and see that. And you can see the sugar crystals. So sugar in the raw is a larger crystal. And over the course of this, I think the ribs took about 2 hours, 2.5 hours on the smoke at 275 degrees with good charcoal company. They have some of the best charcoal in the business. I really love the product that they have. It's a all lump charcoal, 100% real wood. It burns so clean. It's almost, if I didn't add some wood chunks, it's almost as if cooking in an oven. It's such a clean burning feel. And then here's some of the wood chunks I used. It's Chigger Creek It's got wild cherry wood chunks. They have pecan, apple, sugar maple. They have these big wood chunks. I like to cook with those. And they also have little wood chips for a little extra pop of smoke if you're cooking on a barrel or cooking in a Weber. They also have some really fantastic products. And here's that crust that I was telling you about. It's almost like it's formed an extra layer to almost bark on ribs. And I typically don't get too much bark on my ribs, but I mean, look at these things. This is before I wrapped them, and I just, of course, I was standing under a tree, pulled them out quick to get them wrapped. But look at how nice those look. It's a deep, rich mahogany. It's kind of hard to get some good lighting. Those ribs looked a little dark in areas on the ribs that I really didn't have good camera angle to show. It's hard. It's so much different when you're looking through your phone to what you can see with your eye. This is my wrap. I'm just doing a simple wrap. You can get salted butter, unsalted. I chose unsalted for today's. Put some more sugar in the raw. That Tennessee red. I mentioned earlier in the video about going to Fareway. Fareway has all the Blues Hog products. That's where you can get their seasonings. Their sauces are some of the best in the business. And look at the color on these. That's a lot better angle there. You can see how deep red mahogany color that you get from it. And finishing up the wrap here, putting that pat of butter. Just doing the same thing that I did before. I did have some honey that I poured on there. The honey helps tenderize the meat. This essentially creates a butter bath or braise for these ribs too. You wrap them to help tenderize the meat. And that Tennessee red of Blues Hogs is my favorite barbecue sauce from them. Brother-in-law loves the Champions blend. My wife loves the raspberry chipotle and the original. But that Tennessee red adds that vinegar bite that I love in my barbecue. And here's opening up that wrap. These finished up $2.75 in the wrap for about an hour and a half. I'm not looking so much at temperature when I am temperature probing these. The camera's kind of got a sheen to it, and I must have set my phone down and some of the liquid got on it. I do clean it off for some photos at the end, but you can see these finished at about 210, 208, 209 there, and a couple of the bones. The one bone where I did pull some of that fat, it did come off, and that's all right. When those bones are sticking out like that, you know it's going to be nice and tender. Technically for competition, maybe a little overcooked, but virtually fall off the bone, which my family loves. Look at the finished product there. Countryside barbecue sauce from Algona. I know they've got it in Hy-Vee. They've got it in Fareway. Pretty sure they have it at Sunshine Foods. That stuff just, it really sets the color there. It's a nice shine. And I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. These ribs were amazing. Like I said, everything that you see in this video you can get in Okoboji, Sunshine Foods, Krafty's Meat Market, Fareway. Shop local, guys. It's easy to pick some of these great products up. And I really hope you guys enjoyed today's video. We'll catch you on the next one.